Welcome to MSUA Game Changers webcast, where we speak with satellite and mobile connectivity thought leaders about industry trends and share what you need to know about the future of mobile satellite communications. I'm your host, Roger Lanto, and I'm excited to introduce Amy Velazquez, U.S. President of Hypha. Hypha is a leader in the business of providing vehicle-as-a-node services, integrating cellular and satellite connectivity to support first responders, including fire, police, and ambulance services, and maybe a few other applications. We'll get into that. I met Amy at the Police Fleet Expo in Orlando, Florida, where Hypha was showing its Starlink-enabled offering. Hypha was the only Starlink reseller exhibiting at the event. First, Amy, tell me a little bit about your history and connection to the satellite industry.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Roger. It was great meeting you at the show and happy to do the follow-up with you as well. So Hypha has actually been around in the satellite space since about 2015. Our global headquarters is in Brisbane, Australia. So we've been in the APAC market since 2015. In about 2019, Hypha began selling into the United States primarily through resellers. And then it wasn't until about 2025 where Hypha realized that just selling the product from a manufacturing perspective wasn't enough. We wanted to make sure that we gave end-to-end support, the data plans, and everything here in the US late 2025 so that we could make sure that the customer gets the complete solution and the support that really makes it most effective in the field.
And your history, your background?
So I actually was the president and COO of another deployable manufacturing company that works hand in hand with public safety agencies and all the major telcos. So I've had quite a few years supporting disaster response, critical communication prior to coming to Hypha, but that was the direct connection that really made this a good fit because it very much, is a startup from the operational standpoint in the US with the proven technology and support model of our global brand.
I hate to say this, but is disaster response becoming a growth market?
Unfortunately, it is. I don't think it's because of necessarily more disasters, but just more response tools available. So it's just expanding in that sense. I think the ability to respond in a multi-layer facet is becoming the norm, which is, considering the circumstances, everything you could hope to have to offer the communities that are impacted.
I was getting a little worried. Thursday of last week, I was driving with my wife and got an alert in the car saying there are tornadoes in your area. I was like, oh my God. I'm in Northern Virginia. This isn't exactly Oklahoma. But anyway.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think any state is immune to some aspect of disaster response, whether it's fire, mudslide, hurricane, tornado. I think every state has something unique that they're facing. And so our technology specifically expands the response capabilities.
So before meeting you at PFE and discussing your service offering, I had never heard of the concept of vehicle as a node. The idea is both intuitive, maybe even obvious, and yet it was totally new to me. Can you explain the nature of Hypha's value-added offering integrating Starlink technology?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, vehicle as a node, that really, in the simplest terms, is using the vehicle to create a network hub. And so our technology creates multi-bearer connectivity network from the roof of a vehicle. So our product line, the Hypha One, and more new, the Hypha One Mini, is creating that network of redundancy of both cellular and satellite capabilities and connectivity, either bolt mounted or mag mounted on the roof of a vehicle. So we've expanded what many are already doing inside the vehicle to external and then some. And so that ability to create vehicle as a network is really a new concept because most public safety especially are working off of just a router with a couple cell SIMs. And that's the extent of their connectivity. And so by providing the diversification with satellite, you're able to expand that. And at the end of the day, anything non-terrestrial is much more redundant than terrestrial networks. They're just not impacted by weather or fiber cuts or down power, cell towers or power lines, all those things, they're immune to it. So we're expanding redundancy.
I was surprised to see Hypha as the only exhibitor with satellite technology at FPE. How widespread is satellite connectivity in the law enforcement and emergency response community?
That's an interesting question. I would say right now it's early adoption. it's something new. It's a different way of looking at things. It's just like when agencies were going from LMR, and it takes a while for them to get out of that comfort zone. So we are spending a lot of time educating agencies on why satellite is a reliable mission critical asset rather than just some new unproven technology. We do a lot of POCs because of that. We're like, where's your coverage fail points? Oh, and it's not just remote areas. It's post disaster. It's large events where there's a lot of congestion. So all those different pain points, we're able to let them use it. Try before you buy. We really don't mind doing that because we're able to take real analytics and show them with map overlays all the areas they previously couldn't control, or all the times that the application prioritization was missed. And so some of the critical needs weren't met. We can actually provide them real data in real time with a visual aspect that shows, now you're at 99.6% coverage in the entire state across all these applications, whatever the unique environment may be, we can actually show them real facts.
Oh, my favorite, national parks.
That's a big one. And that's a couple different layers. It's not just areas of complete dead zones there. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of weather issues as well. And this is the furthest jump for them to go into satellite technology than a lot of more municipal agencies, honestly.
So what's the nature of the market? Is Hypha responding to RFQs, or is it necessary to pioneer the technology? And you partially answered the question already, but pioneer that technology among first responders to educate and drive the adoption?
Definitely RFQs, a lot of direct to consumer opportunities as well, and partnering with the carriers, I think, is a good segue to that. But I would say, with how do you get into market? I think one of the things that is unique is they are looking at satellite, but probably just individual units. Like they're just putting something on their dash and calling it good. And so it's not just educating on why satellite is so beneficial to them. It's also, why would you want it to be a multi-bearer network? Why do you want them together? And so that's a big proponent of our product, is it integrates the cellular, the satellite, your routing, your antennas, your power management into one device. So we're kind of combating two different thought processes, not just why do you need satellite, but why should you have it together? You want them working together. You want them to collaborate and blend that technology, which is a big reason why we use PepLink specifically in our devices.
Another technology that's emerging around this time, and this is a little off topic, but I am curious, and that is drones. First responders are just beginning to adopt drones in police departments.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any intersection of the work that Hypha is doing with drone activity?
There's absolutely a lot of opportunity for the technologies to collaborate. Because we're able to get off about a quarter-mile coverage, there's a lot of drones that are currently operating as tethered drones that wouldn't need to operate that way. So there's definitely some synergy there.
And what are the most typical use cases? Do you have any success stories you can share?
Yeah, so public safety is our bread and butter. I mean, we have about 10,000 devices across public safety globally. So we obviously know that that's, when you talk about mission critical connectivity, that's exactly where it lives, right? But the evolution of the technology and the evolution of any community response team, so your utilities, transit, there's a space for it there as well, because communication doesn't just, it's not talking and it's not just data transfer, it's a safety mechanism as well. And so being able to provide safety tools, telematics, cameras, nowadays, everything's operating off of some type of software, data transmission, camera system. And we offer the backhaul to that. At the end of the day, they all have to go over something. And right now they're going over a cell carrier, or they're going, so we're expanding that, and we're providing the reliability that they require.
No amazing success stories? to
Yeah,
tell?
we have a lot. I would say, in Australia, RFS is a big one. They're in the middle of the sticks, and we're providing multiple barriers for them to be able to communicate and transmit data. We did a big POC here in the States. I won't mention the agency, but getting up to the 99 percentile of communication on a 24 operation statewide, where there's areas that they could never have patrolled in. I mean, they literally avoid it. It is amazing. I mean, you're not just expanding something, you're creating something that didn't exist. You're allowing them to do something they never thought possible. So we take a lot of pride in being able to do that.
Enabling them to patrol areas that they were avoiding because they didn't have connectivity?
Well, if there's an emergency, obviously they're going to respond, but they're not doing proactive patrols where you can't communicate. If you can't receive dispatch or communicate back, this really opens up a door of what they can do. And we're able to overlay with quite a bit of software and application use. So there's just a collaborative environment that the Hypha One Mini creates.
Wow. I'm getting a little worried about our law enforcement agencies.
Oh no. I mean, I'm talking like very rural mountainous areas that don't have people there. So you don't typically go there. But if you could, what would you do, right? You're able to set up a whole different atmosphere for proactive approaching.
Okay, I'm feeling better. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like they're not going to your neighborhood, but think of mountainous areas or remote desert areas where you could go 20 miles and never see a patrol officer, right?
Yep.
But if they could connect safely in that area, they could receive live dispatch tools in those areas. They could, get out and walk if they needed to without feeling that they were maybe entering an environment that wasn't safe. They'd be much more likely to go there in a preemptive state. And so the Hypha One Mini really opens that, what was unlikely or impossible to become possible.
I've seen Breaking Bad. I know what you're talking about.
There you go.
So how have Hypha's solutions evolved? Can you provide some additional detail regarding your mesh network messaging? That one I can't say I completely understood.
Yeah, in the US, we're not focusing on our mesh product line because the mesh product line is tied to 4.9, which is held up right now with being able to license that. So our product, though, the evolution of the product, I mean, even just now we're launching the new slim version, which is one of the ones that you saw at the show. And that comes directly from the response of users in the field who are like, hey, the Hypha One's great. The Hypha One Mini is great, but it maybe sits a little too high and it obstructs the light bar for a police cruiser. So we actually dropped that down and elongated it a bit in direct response to a user's feedback. Makes sense. And we're a very nimble engineering company. So our ability to make changes that make sense for the broader use case is always there. We've been able to actually, in about 6 months' time, redesign that to the slim version, do our FCC testing, IP69 rating, and have a market-ready device that's ready to go. So we've changed. I would say the technology underneath the shell remains the same because it's well proven, but the delivery has evolved. And one thing we haven't got a chance to talk about is we don't just manufacture devices and ship them out. We support them end to end. So we do all the network engineering and configuration all the way through to your live support. So we run a 24/7 knock in Texas. So if somebody has a question or a concern about the device, they can call us, not just about the Starlink. We're going to support the entire solution. And that's very unique from a manufacturer's perspective.
Okay. Now, where can people find out more about Hypha's satellite-related solutions? And the reason I ask is because when I was searching the name Hypha, I did get some odd results. So which website is the place to get the right information?
Hypha.world is the website. That's where you're going to find everything. You'll be able to inquire. You can learn about our team. You can see our product portfolio, Hypha.world, and you can always email US sales at Hypha.world as well.
Okay. And what's the next event you'll be going to?
We will be at the Vision Summit. So FirstNet Vision Summit in Las Vegas in September. I think after that is IACP in Orlando.
What is the Vision for? What
It's the FirstNet User Summit.
Oh,
For
okay.
FirstNet customers, agencies that are working alongside FirstNet can collaborate, see what new technologies are emerging that support first responders.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Amy. I want to thank the Mobile Satellite Users Association for hosting these sessions. You can learn more about the MSUA at msua.org. You can learn how to get our weekly newsletter that gives you updates on everything that's happening in the industry and shares information about upcoming events. And you can also find out how to become a member. We look forward to seeing you next time on MSUA's Game Changers webcast. Amy, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.